Super Mario Maker 2 took the original Mario Maker and gave it a massive upgrade, adding new music, new themes, and even a new game style. But I was quite disappointed with the new enemies in this game. So of course there was a bunch of new enemies in the 3D world style, but for the other game styles, we got 4 new enemies. And I'm not happy with that. They need to add more than that. There's so many enemies that would work really well with the things that Mario Maker 2 has, but they just decided not to bother. So today, I'm going to count down my top 10 enemies that still need to be in Super Mario Maker 2. I'm going to talk about why I like the enemy and why I think it would work very well in Mario Maker 2. Now I know what you're thinking, Crypt, everyone's done this video. I know, but I have some things I really want to say, and my reasons and opinions for putting enemies on the list will be different from others. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get on to number 10. Recently, people have started wanting the King Bill in Mario Maker, but I feel like the King Bill wouldn't fit Super Mario Maker and it would just straight up break the game. But King Bill's cousin, the Torpedo Ted, would work very well in Mario Maker. They're basically just underwater bullet bills, but they go a lot faster. This would make your boring, slow water level a little bit more fast and intense. The thing that annoys me the most about these guys is that it's so easy to add them to the game. All Nintendo needs to do is, instead of having a bullet bill underwater, just replace it with a Torpedo Ted. Now I know they might not seem that interesting at first glance, but just remember how slow the bullet bills are underwater. Don't you want some fun in your water levels? So you're still not sure about the Torpedo Ted? Look at his name. His name is Ted. I've just decided that Ted is an amazing name, which is why you should support me when I want this in Mario Maker. In Super Mario Maker 2, the desert theme sucks, for one big reason. There is no proper desert enemies. So that's why the Pokey would be perfect for this game. The Pokey's quite an interesting enemy, and he's been in quite a few games. Even though he could be used in loads of different ways, it would be very easy for Nintendo to pop him in Mario Maker 2. The only thing I want them to do with Wiggler is be able to make him taller or shorter, because in the games that they're in, they come in all different heights. The Pokeys would also be perfect for a Yoshi level, because if you stick your tongue at a Pokey's head, you eat the entire thing. That must be a mouthful for Yoshi. But yeah, Pokeys have become a fan favourite, and it shocked everyone when they didn't make an appearance in Mario Maker 2. And also, if New Super Mario Bros. For the DS becomes a game style, then they should totally add the Mummy Poke Boss, because let's be honest here, that boss was straight up awesome. Let's face it, everyone hates the Porky Puffer, but that's what makes it so fun for it to be in levels, because of how hard and challenging it can be. They lurk around the water, and then when you're close enough, bam, they jump out of the water and try to damage you. Now I know that Porky Puffer is in the 3D world game style, but that's kind of confusing to me, seeing as it's not in any of the other game styles. This makes no sense. Since the Porky Puffer was in Mario World, the Porky Puffer was in New Super Mario Bros. U, and the Porky Puffer was in Super Mario Bros. 3, but it looked different and it was called the Boss Bass. The only thing different was that it tried to eat you instead of just damaging you, which made him a lot more annoying. But yeah, practically the same really. And Mario Maker 2 does need some more underwater enemies. It's about time that Nintendo listened to their fans and just gave us the freaking Porky Puffer already! As I've already said, the underwater theme in Mario Maker needs to have some more enemies. And if the Torpedo Ted and the Porky Puffer isn't enough, then the Urchin will definitely do the trick. These enemies are a lot like me. They're very lazy. They don't really do anything. They just move around very slowly, and they are absolutely covered in spikes. So whenever you touch one of these bad boys, you will be getting damaged. Unless you have a power star, then you're good to go. But you don't just find the urchins underwater, you can also find them floating around in the beach levels in New Super Mario Bros. U. So it would be cool if we could also do that in Mario Maker. And also, I never knew that they were in Super Mario World, but apparently they are, so there you go. And let's be honest here, the tiny little urchins are just adorable. If there's no baby urchins in Mario Maker, I don't want any urchins in Mario Maker. In Mario Maker, the track item is pretty awesome. You can place enemies on it, you can place platforms on it, and they'll move wherever you want them to go. But what are the tracks without fuzzies? Fuzzies are strange little black, spiky balls of doom that will damage you if you touch them. This enemy is almost only ever seen on tracks, which means that they're perfect for each other. And I feel like it's time for the fuzzy to make an appearance in Mario Maker 2. First of all, they've appeared in the 3D games and the 2D games. And the fuzzy was in Super Mario World. I'm starting to think that every single enemy ever is in Mario World. Like, geez. And if the ice flower became a power-up, that would be awesome. Because if you freeze a fuzzy, it just becomes an ice block that you can stand on, and it's pretty helpful sometimes. Needless to say, the fuzzies would be an excellent addition to Mario Maker 2. Mario Maker 2 brought a whole lot of new things into the game, but one of the most important parts was the slopes. I was super excited for these at first, but then I realised how lame they are, because there's no spikes. I thought the spike was definitely going to come into the game, because I mean, without slopes, the spikes are terrible, and without spikes, the slopes are terrible. And the Spike is an incredibly popular character now. He's been in all of the newer Mario games, including 3D World, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, and even other things like Mario Party and Mario Tennis Aces. They were first seen in Super Mario Bros. 3, and they were a lot freakier back then. And also, gravity just didn't affect their spike balls, they just floated kind of. It is a big shame that they're not already in Mario Maker 2, but I'll be happy as long as they come at some point. You guys might know that the 3D World style in Mario Maker is definitely not one of my favourites. But there's one forgotten enemy that I loved in the game that I would love to be in Mario Maker 2 as well. And this is the Rammerhead. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't even know what this enemy is, even if you played 3D World, because it only appeared in 2 levels, and one of them was a Captain Toad level, so I don't even think that counts. But Rammerhead Reef is one of my favourite levels in 3D World, just because of the Rammerheads themselves. And to top it all off, most of Rammerhead Reef was 2D, and the Rammerheads, well, they've only really been seen in a 2D level, which means that I would call them 2D enemies, which is what all of Mario Maker 2 is, 2D, so the Rammerhead is just what we need, and also I might give 3D World a try if the Rammerhead actually becomes an enemy. And also, they're just really cool looking, it would definitely make your levels look nicer. And you know, they're freaking sharks, how awesome is that? Even though I've only seen them in one game, the Grolls are a very unique type of enemy. And I'm saying that because I haven't seen any other enemy do the same thing as these guys. Even though what they do is pretty simple. They just roll, you know, clues in the name. Groll, you know, roll. And I was going to put just spike balls on the list, but I don't really think they count as enemies, more of obstacles. But yes, the big spiky balls have been seen in a lot more Mario games than the Grolls. But they're both basically the same thing, except this time round, they actually have a face, which gives them a little bit more personality. And even though it's quite hard to describe what people would do with this enemy, I think there's a lot of interesting things that could happen. They can also destroy almost anything that they touch, especially enemies. Poor Pokies. Poor Pokies. It's needless to say that the Growl would be a very interesting and sometimes quite a challenging enemy that would work really well in Mario Maker 2. You have to admit that sometimes you just want an enemy in Mario Maker 2 because they're just straight up awesome. Well, as some of you might know, Bruiser is probably one of my favourite enemies of all time. Now some of you might disagree with me, but I feel like Bruiser is what we're really missing. He's got the looks, he's got the intimidation, and of course, the urge to kill Mario. Just look at this man's face. I don't know what Mario's done to make him this angry, but it must have been something terrible. You know what? That's actually the only thing that sucks about Bruiser. We know nothing about him. We just know he's this weird looking ghost with boxing gloves and I swear there's something else. Oh wait, no, there is not. What we really need in Mario Maker 2 is someone that's attractive, someone that's very smart and cunning, someone that is very powerful, and of course, someone popular. We need someone that is loved by everyone. So, the enemy we need the most in Mario Maker 2 is Waluigi.